Super Mario World was way ahead of its time. Released in November of 1990, this game still holds up over 30 years later, with an incredible art style, fun but challenging levels, and incredible controls, making it easy to get into, but difficult to master, making for one of the most popular and competitive speed games of all time. Welcome to Speedrunning Simplified, the show where I, a longtime speedrunning fan, but new speedrunner myself, learn to speedrun various games, so you don't have to, simplifying how each speedrun is performed, making them easy to understand and follow along with for beginners, then putting what I learned to the test and trying it out myself. Today, we're going to be learning all about what goes into Super Mario World speedrunning, with a primary focus on its most popular category, 11 exit glitchless. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy. Super Mario World speedrunning is a little different from the games I've covered thus far. There are a lot of categories. The most popular one is 11 exit, which is what this video is primarily going to be about, but I want to talk briefly about the other categories in the game. For those who don't know, Super Mario World has a total of 72 levels, not counting the front or back door of Bowser's Castle, with 24 of those levels having alternate ways to exit the level, for a total of 96 different exits that can be taken. The game does keep track of this, and there is a reward for completing all 96 exits, so naturally this was made into this game's 100% category, appropriately named 96 Exit. There are 9 different worlds that spread out these 72 levels, being Yoshi's Island, Donut Plains, Vanilla Dome, Twin Bridges, Forest of Illusion, Chocolate Island, Valley of Bowser, Star World, and the Special Zone. The current world record for 96 Exit is 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 17 seconds by Japanese runner Usui, run on Japanese and original SNES. You can run Super Mario World on pretty much any console you can think of, including emulator, but the SNES console itself is the best method for doing so. However, as a beginner, the time difference is so minuscule, you should learn on what is most readily available to you. As with any of these videos, I highly recommend joining the dedicated Discord server for each speed game if you're interested in learning more. If you want to take 96 Exit a bit further, there is technically a more complete 100% run, called Lunar Dragon. Lunar Dragon is the same as 96 Exit, except you also have to collect all of the moons, which are essentially 3 extra lives rolled into 1, as well as collect at least 5 of the dragon coins, in all levels that have at least 5. The world record for Lunar Dragon is only about 10 minutes slower than the regular 96 Exit category, currently held by Japanese runner Hami Dasuyo. 11 Exit originally was this game's equivalent to any percent, which is the speedrunning term for beating the game as fast as possible with no restrictions. Doing that normally requires the player to go through a minimum of 11 exits to reach Bowser's Castle. However, a runner known as Jeff W356 discovered a glitch known as Credits Warp, allowing for the game to be beaten without ever taking an exit, known as Zero Exit. This allows for the game to be beaten, technically, by skipping to the end credits in well under a minute nowadays, causing any percent to be turned into Zero Exit and have a new category created for the 11 exit runs. Essentially, you write code inside of the game and then execute it in real time to warp to the credits. This is far and away outside of my comfort zone to explain, so if you're curious and learning more, I'll have videos linked below that do a far better job than I ever could. So the game can be beaten with all 96 exits, or just 11 exits, or heck, even 0 exits using a credits warp. What else could there be? Well, to shake up gameplay, there are quite a few other categories on the leaderboard. The Star World is what makes it possible to beat the game in 11 exits, unlocking it early and skipping straight to the Valley of Bowser world. So naturally, the game would be quite different if you beat the game as fast as possible without using the Star World. So, no Star World was born. But what if you wanted to defeat all of the Koopalings? Well, how about all castles? What if you wanted to beat the game, but do so without using any power-ups? Well, how about small only? What about no Star World, but also small only? You can see where I'm going with this. There's all castles small only, no Star World small only, and just regular small only. And that includes no Yoshi as well. There's just one more thing to talk about, and that's a very special power-up. The Feather. One of the most iconic power-ups in the Mario series. The Feather transforms Mario into Cape Mario and allows you to fly through the levels. This is used a lot, as you can imagine, allowing you to fly over a lot of the levels with ease. So yeah, there is also 11 exit, no cape, no Star World, all castles, no cape, and 95 exit, no cape. you get the point. Donut Ghost House's secret exit is not possible without a cape, hence 95 exit no cape instead of 96 exit no cape. That's a lot of categories. The game's fun. I completely understand wanting to experience all different facets of it while going as fast as possible. Speedrun categories are awesome, but I agree, it can be pretty intimidating for a newcomer. Where the hell do you start? Whatever you're most comfortable with trying, honestly. However, I and many others recommend 11 exit, since it's short, sweet, and pretty simple to pick up. Let's delve into 11 exit and the different ways speedrunners tackle it. So, if you thought this portion of the video would be me going over the 11 exits and how speedrunners beat them as fast as possible, you would mostly be right. It can't be that simple, can it? I mean, the game is nearly 32 years old. Older than me, probably older than you. It probably has more tricks. 2 tricks, to be exact. There are 3 subcategories to the 11 exit category. There is glitchless, then orb, and then cloud. What the hell is an orb and cloud? Well, let's start with orb. While playing the game normally, you'll eventually reach the final level before entering the Valley of Bowser, the sunken ghost ship. This level is different than every other level in the game. It doesn't end with a giant gate like usual. Instead, it ends with a magic ball, more commonly known as an orb. In early 2012, it was discovered if you perform a glitch called the item swap, you can obtain this orb for yourself. By collecting an item off of Yoshi's tongue before he consumes it, the game will be forced to take the nearest thing off screen for Yoshi to consume instead, swapping, for example, a coin with a clappin' chuck. You cannot consume chucks normally. However, something in the code classifies them as power-ups when eaten by Yoshi. Depending on what kind of chuck it is, and what power-up state you're currently in, it will produce a different item in the item box. When consuming a clappin' chuck as a Fire Mario, it produces the very same orb found in the sunken ghost ship, even if it doesn't look like it. When you use this item, it will function exactly the same. It will spawn at the top of your screen, and by coming into contact with it, will end the level you're currently on, counting as an exit and completion. This is most efficiently used on Iggy's castle in an 11 exit run, skipping the entire level, boss fight, and cutscene upon defeating Iggy. The current world record for 11 exit using the orb glitch is 10 minutes and 23 seconds by Japanese runner Double, whereas the glitchless world record, also held by Double, is 10 minutes and 37 seconds. So not too much of a difference. But in June of 2014, a new discovery was made, involving the very same item swap glitch, but in a different way. By eating a forward-running lookout chuck as Small Mario, you'll get Lakitu's Cloud in the item box. This is rideable in the same way as any other Lakitu Cloud would be. It was discovered that using this cloud in the Bowser fight, you could skip Bowser's animations. With the right movement, this technique could save around 55 seconds over a glitchless run, or 40 seconds over an orb run. The Cloud Glitch 11 exit world record currently sits at 9 minutes and 43 seconds by US runner Lost Core, and it has for almost 3 years now. Even with these slight variations to the 11 exit run, a lot remains the same, still needing to go through the 11 exits and then beat the game. So what exactly is that like? 96 exits in Super Mario World, but the game can be beaten in as few as 11. Let's see it. The player completes Yoshi's Island 2, Yoshi's Island 3, Yoshi's Island 4, and then the first castle, Iggy's Castle, to exit World 1, for a total of 4 exits. We then have our first secret in Donut Plains 1. By becoming Cape Mario, you can fly over the level and access the secret keyhole, unveiling Donut Secret 1. Finding Donut Secret 1's secret exit puts the player at Donut Secret House. And again, by finding the Donut Secret House's secret exit and defeating the Big Boo boss, you'll have access to the Star World, with a total of 7 exits. You then make a full loop around the Star World, finding the secret exits within, completing Star World 1, Star World 2, Star World 3, and Star World 4, bringing your total to 11 exits and unlocking the travel point to the Valley of Bowser. All that's left from there is to finish the game. So with only 12 levels, including Bowser's Castle, where several of these 12 levels are incredibly simple and straightforward, this is probably a pretty easy speedrun, right? Not if you want to go fast, which is kind of the point. This game is surprisingly incredibly difficult and extremely precise. And here's why. Every level in the game has a time limit, shown towards the top of your screen. Speedrunners use this time limit to aim for optimal times in each level. The higher that time limit reads, the faster you've completed that level. So each and every level in the game has optimal movement patterns and inputs to get to the exit while keeping that time limit as high as possible. Some are relatively easy, such as Yoshi's Island 2. You pretty much just hold right and run, jumping over obstacles in your way, for a time of 360 remaining. Other levels, however, are a lot more difficult to get down consistently, especially for being a new runner, with the second level of the run being a big reset point to get the hang of, Yoshi's Island 3. Right away after completing a pretty straightforward level, you've got some tricky movement, and even if you pull it off, running through the stage perfectly, you'll get a 258. However, in top runs, you'll see people get a 259. So how is that possible? Invisible to the human eye, the longer you run on the brown platforms that move forward as you run on them, the more speed Mario will gain. Running on all of them as long as possible will just barely save enough time for a 259. It's the little things like these that make running this game easy to pick up, but extremely difficult to master, as one wrong move and you're dead, killing your run once you've gotten at all decent at it. One of the most important things while running this game is maintaining what is known as P-speed. P-speed refers to the boost in Mario's running speed after running forward for a set amount of time. This is in reference to the P-meter first used in Super Mario Bros. 3. While this bar doesn't exist in Super Mario World, it functions very similarly. Most of the techniques and setups in this game require Mario to have P-speed, so getting a feel for the moment you hit it is very important, and is something a new runner will have to learn to get past Yoshi's Island 3 consistently. As a new runner, I found it quite unrealistic to nail the standard for goal times in every single level of this speedrun, so I tried my best to learn them, but I didn't torture myself if I struggled on a certain part. The Super Mario World Speedruns wiki lists strategies for every single level in the game, and their respective categories, which I highly recommend checking out if you're interested in running this game for yourself. The standout levels that caused me the most trouble were Donut Secret 1 and Donut Secret House. All of the other levels were pretty straightforward given a little bit of practice using the wiki. Donut Secret 1 is a water level, and at this point I would be Cape Mario. It's extremely important to keep your cape. Otherwise your run is pretty much dead. I struggled a lot with swimming and keeping my cape. A neat trick is used in the dry section to get a Koopa shell to swim to the end a lot faster. This wasn't too hard after some practice, but water levels were definitely a struggle for me. Donut Secret House was probably the hardest part of this speedrun, so much so that I pretty much gave up on trying to learn how to do it the fast way, and started going through it slowly and carefully. Boo rings work very strangely in Super Mario World. Their position will be completely different depending on when you enter their part of the stage. So if you go too slow during the first section, the boo ring in the second room won't be in the correct position to go through the stage as quickly as possible. You're supposed to do what is called a cape cancel to dive through the first boo ring, and then immediately build up P-speed flying to the door. This was very difficult to pull off, as if you're a little bit too slow, you won't make it to the second boo ring in time. I would lose my cape here every single time, and just started to take my time on it instead. Super Mario World 11 exit glitchless speedruns are pretty much all movement. There aren't really any tricks apart from playing optimally. However, there is one in Star World 1 that's worth mentioning, but isn't recommended for a beginner runner. And that trick would be zips. By spin jumping on the rotating blocks in Star World 1, you can make the max number of 4 start spinning, and then push into them either left or right while holding A. These can be quite inconsistent, but if done correctly, Mario will shoot downwards, getting through the level a little quicker. They can be a little difficult to pull off, and are easy to mess up. They also don't save that much time, so it's best to just take the safe route as a beginner. So with all of this information, and having practiced for a day or so, I was ready to try and complete a run of my own. So let's see how I did. One important thing to note is time starts 2.2 seconds after selecting a 1 or 2 player game. So by setting your timer to negative 2.2 seconds, it will line up perfectly upon starting your new game. My goal was to finish a run. I didn't care how much I died. I didn't care if I did things a little bit differently from the strategies I had learned. I just wanted a time to compete against. And on my 15th run attempt, I got one that looked promising. I did Yoshi's Island 4 pretty slow, but managed to get out of Yoshi's Island as a whole without dying. The first time I managed privileged to do so. And because I managed to always somehow lose my cape, I took time to get 2 of them in Donut Plains 1. And while I played Donut Secret 1 pretty well, tragedy struck. I lost one of my 2 capes, and I dropped the P-switch into the void. But I didn't want to reset. I wanted a time to compete against, so I went back in, and surprisingly did really well. And since I didn't have a second cape, I went through the Donut Secret House as carefully as I could. Thankfully, I had the foresight to switch my cape and Fire Flower I had in reserve, because I took damage on the Big Boo fight. But because I took that precaution, I still had my cape. And while Star World 4 almost took a turn for the worst, I managed to make it into the Valley of Bowser for the very first time. And unlike Super Mario 64, I don't have any trouble besting this Koopa King, finishing my first run with a time of 16 minutes and 49 seconds. I knew I could improve this a lot, and was having a lot of fun doing so. And only 4 run attempts later, I did just that, with a time of 13 minutes and 45 seconds. Unfortunately, I had something urgent come up that night and was busy the rest of the week. I wasn't able to continue runs until then, so this is where I'm gonna have to leave it. But I had a lot of fun trying this out. I could definitely see myself returning to Super Mario World speedruns in the future. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I made it easy to follow along with and understand. If I did, it would really mean a lot to me if you left a like and let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. I really wish I could have done more speedrun attempts of this game, but like I said, I had a very urgent family matter come up that I had to deal with, and I just didn't feel like continuing from there. I think Super Mario World speedruns are really awesome. They feel super good to improve upon, and are pretty easy to pick up and understand for newcomers. I would definitely recommend this game to people who are wanting to get into speedrunning. If you like 2D platformers, and Mario platformers specifically, this is going to be just the game for you. I'm pretty new to learning how to speedrun games, but I've had a lot of fun with what I've tried so far. I can't wait to see what is in store for me next. I'd love to have you join me on this journey by subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you at the finish line of my next world record.
No way. You're so tragic at this game. Wait, no! You're so stupid. No way. Oh, well, we've got my end video clip. No way.